Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to chat with you all about some things that have come down the pike from the SBA. A lot of us we try to keep track of what the SBA is doing because a lot of times they have programs of interest for our small business folks, and sometimes those programs of interest that are currently in existence, sometimes the guidance may change on some of those programs. So it's a good habit if you can to keep track of what the SBA is doing. We're definitely trying our best to support Isabel Guzman so far. She's done an incredible job as the SBA administrator, and we're just hoping month after month, with her at the helm, they'll continue to do great things. Now, there's a lot of stuff to talk about today. A lot has come out of the SBA in the last few weeks. A lot of stuff to talk about, and some of it we'll probably just glance over, and then we'll have to come back at another time and talk about some of this stuff again. But the main thing I wanted to focus on today was some of you may be familiar with the EIDL loans. And EIDL that program has been in existence even before COVID-19. It's just now there is a COVID specific element within that EIDL program that I wanted to touch on a little bit because there's been some developments there that I think our small business owners and independent contractors will be interested in. And generally, the assumption is if the federal government thinks that these programs are useful or a benefit, then it's not just the benefit of the business owner for these programs; it's also the benefit of the country. So, for both of those reasons, I feel obliged to share some of this stuff. Now, obviously, you want to be checking the SBA website. And there's also another one called the Journal of Accountancy. And generally, when you hear the word journal, you're thinking about something that's expensive. But you can get alerts from the Journal of Accountancy for free. You put in your email address, you can subscribe to for free. But even if you wanted a print edition of the Journal of Accountancy, and it's well worth what you would pay for it. If you have any interest in business whatsoever, then you could pay as low as $65 a year. So if you do the math, I mean that's like $6 a month on up to I want to say I think $80. I mean depending on what you select. So if you have any interest in business whatsoever, that Journal of Accountancy may be something that you may want to be interested in. Particularly for my students, I love you all, the business majors. Definitely look into it. I know you all have the constrained budgets, but $80, a year, and you may can share it with one of your classmates that's in your major, etc. And y'all can discuss. It's really good content in there, very essential, easy to understand content about business, and in particular, there's got some great small business stuff in there, including some of the stuff that I'm going to be talking to you now. So with the EIDL, that's the program we're talking about, and this is economic injury disaster loans. So again, this has been around since before COVID, but now we have something specific dealing with COVID within the EIDL program. And some of you who are really on top of things may have seen the they had a hearing, a small business hearing, where they had invited two people from the SBA down to talk to Congress as to how things were going. And one of those persons were represented the EIDL program. The other represented the very well-known PPP program. I think that's probably a lot more popular than the EIDL. So there's been some changes there. Now, last year, with the CARES Act, I want to say that's like March of last year, maybe. So there was money put into this EIDL program for businesses who were negatively affected economically by COVID. So these were loans. The maximum amount, I believe, was $150,000, and you had a 12-month deferment period, which means you didn't make your first payment until 12 months after the note, the loan origination. So, and the interest rates were 3.75%, and this is for small businesses and independent contractors. Now, if you were nonprofit, I think they shaved off a percentage point, and it was 2.75% interest rate. And y'all can check all this stuff. I just want to make sure I generate the interest, so y'all can look into this stuff. Now, the maximum now has been raised recently. The maximum has been raised from 150,000 to 500,000. So that's a pretty big deal. That's more than 3 times what it was before at the high end. So that's pretty important. And the deferral period has been extended from 12 months to up to 24 months. That's if you were approved for an EIDL loan last year. Now, you can still apply for EIDL loan. That's what I'm getting to now. If you can apply for EIDL loans now, but the deferment period is only 18 months. And that's because you're applying much later than the people who applied last year. So obviously that's how that's set up. So it's from 12 months to either 18 or 24 months, depending on when you applied and got approved for the loan. So theoretically, yeah, your first payment may not be until 2022, which is good because it gives you time to get back on your feet. And a lot of small businesses, yeah, they need some time to get back on their feet, and the money will be used for your normal operating expenses. Don't be getting crazy with it. You never know how what kind of governance they have a place and things like that. So yeah, just normal operating expenses. There may have been some sacrifices you had to make because of COVID, and this gives you the opportunity to get back on your feet. So those are the 2 main things I wanted to tell you today. The application is online. You can go to cba.gov/disaster. I think that's the URL for that. And you just scroll down and try to find that EIDL application. And it's pretty streamlined. You go in and it's probably about 3 or 4 steps to it. They want to know who all the owners are. They want to make sure you qualify or eligible. So they ask about criminal history and things like that, as well as if you have some really irresponsible financial behavior, then they'll definitely want to know about that. So just want to know if you're eligible, et cetera. And then you go into your EIN or SSN, depending on how your business is set up. And they want to know cost of goods sold. They want to know revenues pre-pandemic. They want to know all that information. And I'm pretty sure while they're processing your application, they may come back and ask you for additional information. That's very possible. Because that's how loans work. Even though it's coming from the federal government, they're probably going to want some additional information. So here they'll probably put you in a queue, and then so this is kind of the initial screening, and then there'll probably be some professionals to go through your application process and maybe ask for some additional information. So I'm guessing that's the way that's going to work. But the application, you can probably get through it in 15 to 30 minutes, depending on if you have your basic some very basic financial information available. Like I said, it's just like revenues, cost of goods sold, and pretty basic stuff. And and some of that may even be in your tax return, so you could just copy and paste it directly from your tax returns. So just look at your 2019 business tax return, or I guess Schedule C, whichever you use, and some of that information you probably can lift right off there and put it on. So take advantage of that. I mean, if you've been negatively impacted, I think their number is, I want to say 30% decrease in revenue, as you know, representing a negative impact. Then yeah, I mean, you know, look into it. And again, you get that deferment, so you can get back on your feet. You can make the investments you need to make to grow your business, get your employees back, et cetera, et cetera. Just get back to where you were. Just recover. So that's the main thing I wanted to say. Now, what I go into next, I'm just going to go over briefly because I want to talk about this more in detail, probably in another video. But I did want to mention it because it's very urgent. In the initial EIDL, some businesses received advances. And for some businesses, the advances were very small. I think some was as low as like $1,000. And if you're a business owner, you can't do much with $1,000 during a disaster like COVID-19. But according to the testimony, like I said, there was a hearing, small business SBA hearing, not too long ago. The gentleman basically said that they didn't have enough money to do what the CARES Act had actually said. So they didn't even follow the law of what the CARES Act even said in terms of how much money certain small businesses should receive. So it looks like the current SBA administrator, Isabel Guzman, and her team is trying to kind of correct that. So you can apply for the SBA EIDL advance that you should have got last year. So that's something of interest. So you can apply for that, and they try to make it as easy as possible for you to do that. But there's one caveat, and they call it a targeted EIDL advance. So the caveat to that is your business has to be in what they consider a low income community. And the reason why, I'm gonna have to talk about this at another time is because I'm gonna have to, go on my laptop and go to the website and show you how you put your address, your business address into that site that I'm gonna show you. The SBA has one. There's other ones too that are out there, but the SBA itself has one that you can put your business address into, and it'll show you whether your business is in a low income community or not, because it'll be shaded purple as opposed to shaded, some other color. So it'll be very easy for you to determine whether your business is in a low income community. So you should know, whether you should apply for that or not. And if you're thinking, what I'm thinking, then, as a business owner, if your business is not in a low income community right now, then, you may want to consider, if it makes sense for your business, putting an office in a low income community. Because like I said, if the SBA, which is backed by the federal government, feels like this is important, then it's not just going to be important for the individual business owner. It's something that's going to be important for the country. So if they think this is important for the country, maybe it's something that business owners may want to think about doing. And that's think about finding where some of these low income communities are, and think about having an office in that community if it makes sense. Again, if it makes sense. And it's definitely something that I'm thinking about doing. And I'm sure a lot of business owners are thinking about some of the changes and adjustments they're going to make, because this is kind of the time to do it, given everything that's happened. But I think guys, I think that's all I have for you today. So again, like I said, I'll when I get a chance, I'll get on my laptop and I'll show you how to determine whether your business is in a low-income community. And in the meantime, we are working on an article on this topic. So yes, you can have the information that you can read, some references, some resources, etc., to make that available. So I'll keep you updated on that. But until then, I'll let y'all get back to what y'all need to do. Thank you. Peace.